Today's video is for any musician that's been on a worship team before that maybe is classically trained and wants to learn how to improvise better, or if you've been in a situation where you were handed a recording to listen to and your instrument is not on that recording, and so you're having to create a part from scratch, and not only from scratch, but without any notes on your music. You might just have a chord chart or maybe at best a lead sheet. How do you create a part for yourself to play with no instructions? I'm welcoming today Ella. She's a violinist on our worship team here, and she's going to help demonstrate how you would do this on a violin. So I've handed Ella a chord chart. She has never heard it before. I've already told her that it's in the key of D major. So Ella, let's prepare this a little bit and just go ahead and warm ourselves up in the key of D major. Just play a D major scale going up and then back down again. Fantastic. And this chord progression will be in the video box. It may be there already. There's one little departure in this chord progression, and that is that we have a C natural chord. And if you're classically trained, you know that in the key of D major, there's F sharp and C sharp. And so it would be good for Ella, as she's seeing this for the first time, to play a D major scale now with a C natural in it, which is also known as Mixolydian. So let's do that. Great. So if you're a musician like Ella, or if you are showing up to a worship team rehearsal, you're handed only a chord chart, this is a great way to prepare yourself. Just go ahead and get that scale going and see where the distances are, where the finger changes are, so that your brain can start to warm up. So I'm going to play this chord progression on the guitar, and then we're going to use the violin to start building a part for her to play. Here we go. You probably heard there at the very end, there's a little bit of a departure, and that's where that C natural chord comes into play. All right, so what I'm going to have Ella do is I'm going to have her limit herself severely so that way her brain only has to focus on a few things at a time. So Ella, what I'd like you to do, you can see here that there's 8 measures. I want you to give me 1 bow per measure, and you can either play on the root or the 5th. That's it, so or a D or an A. And that way we're just going to get an idea of eternalizing that tempo, and just feeling the changes as we go in a very easy way to go. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. And you'll notice when I got to that C natural chord, what she was playing didn't clash yet because she's only on the root in the 5th, and that C is up on the 7th. Still sounded really nice. Okay, so now what I'd like you to do is, since this is in the key of D, it would be really easy to use a double stop on the violin. And for those watching, just in case you need it, double stops where you play in 2 violin strings at one time. You hear a lot in fiddle type music and country music. Let's experiment with what that would sound like. So you're still doing long bows, but let's use double stops and either feel the freedom to alter the top note or the bottom note and just play around with it and see what you think. All right, 1, 2, 3, here we go. Fantastic. So we've experimented with long bows on single notes and long bows on double stops. All right, now let's shorten it up a little bit and let's think about maybe some rhythmic patterns. So you've heard the guitar play through this now 3 times. Still using, let's add the third in now. So root, third, and fifth. What's maybe some rhythmic patterns you could use? For instance, could you do dotted quarter to quarter? Could you do a few eighth notes and a half note? Maybe just play around with it for these 8 bars and see on the root, the third, and the fifth, what rhythmic patterns could you try? All right, 2, 3, 4. Now let's do the same thing, and now we're going to let the second in as well. So D, E, F sharp, or A is now in play, and she can choose any kind of rhythm that she wants to, okay? 2, 3, 4. Great. All right, now we're going to make it a little bit more challenging just to get used to playing maybe melodies or improvised passages that are quicker rhythms. I'm going to have her play the D major scale up in eighth notes as I play this chord progression. And that's just going to teach her to fire off from that scale, maybe in places that aren't as comfortable. If you're used to practicing your scales, you usually start on the root and you go up to the top and then you come back. Well, what if you started in the middle of that? Or what if the beat of the next measure, you're not quite at home base? So this is good practice just to be starting and firing off from that scale in different places. All right, here we go. 2, re, and... Yeah. And the challenge there too is if you have a different chord, like we have that C natural, you kind of have to have your eyes ready for that. And she was able to kind of move past it before we got to it. But that's another something to consider is that if you're playing a melody and you have that flatted 7, just make sure that you're able to change on it quickly. Okay, great. So now we're kind of at the place where we can say, okay, we've done long bows, we've used double stops, we've done short rhythmic patterns, and then we've played the scale up and down eighth notes. So what if now you had the freedom to choose any of that? Let's see what we can come up with. And this is kind of where you can orchestrate. You've got the tools in the bag now, and you can kind of start making a melody, which has all kinds of different rhythms, all kinds of different notes. All right, so here we go. From the top, and you are free to choose any of those tools. 2, re, and... Yeah. So Ella at that point is using her ear more now. Instead of just going with what I told her to do specifically, she's able to get the feel of the chord progression, the feel of the song, and choose something that she feels like communicates it the best. Ella, before we go, I was just going to ask, yesterday we played a song in worship team where you had something very similar to this. Were there any tools or ideas that you pulled from that we haven't discussed in this video?
I think one thing is just pulling from different octaves. If you find you're kind of playing in the same range, to challenge yourself to play it higher or lower. And also if you're given a lead sheet, so not just having the chords written, but you actually have the melody and harmony parts written out, that can be helpful to play off of, and also just be aware of harmony parts if what you're playing might not clash with the melody, but it might clash with the melody or the harmony. That can be something to be aware of.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. And as always, when you're learning music, be willing to laugh at yourself, be willing to not take yourself too seriously. We always play better when we're relaxed and having a good time, and we're willing to be patient with the process. So I hope this helps you. If you found this content helpful, I invite you to visit my site, rickbarnesmusic.com, where you can find more video tutorials and a lot of sheet music. Thanks for watching.